Men don't divorce, they simply just cheat. And this is why you should never fall in love with a taken man, especially a married one. Reason one is because he's not leaving. Most men will never walk away from a marriage. This is why 80% of divorce filings have to be done by the woman.
And she's absolutely right. I said it before and I'll say it again. A mistress actually keeps the man in the marriage. Oftentimes he's looking for that 20% that he's not getting at home, and that's where you come in. He uses you to supplement what he feels that his relationship is missing. You keep him in the marriage because now he feels fulfilled. Now he feels whole. He gets all the stability and familiarity from her. But from you, he gets the excitement. But that's only because you're not with him day to day. Oh, it's easy to seem like the perfect woman when you only see him on nights and weekends and after the holidays and all of that. When somebody's with him day to day, they see the real him. You don't know his bad habits because when he's with you, it's an escape. He's not going to leave his wife now that you're here because now he doesn't have to. Because he has all the stability from her and all the fun and excitement from you. The thing about it is you don't know the real him and he doesn't know the real you. All you know is this manufactured scenario that you guys are in, but it's not a reality. He's going to do everything he can to keep you happy because he needs you. You're filling a void. You're useful. But what happens when you've outlasted your usefulness?
I didn't love my wife when we got married. I loved the idea of a wife, and it's embarrassing to admit that. I married her for what she could bring to me, how she could improve my life.
I don't love my wife no more. Whatever feelings I had inside for her, they're dead, and they died a long time ago.
At some point, I think it's necessary for us to see this for what it truly is, and that is a humiliation ritual. Some men have a humiliation kink, humiliation fetish. They love embarrassing you publicly and privately. These days, there are so many men out there who are so afraid of being labeled a simp or a sucker for loving a woman that they just want to make it clear, I didn't even love her at first, or I don't even love her now. All for the approval and the acceptance of other men. They think it makes them look like some kind of tough guy, that they're with a wife that they can tell everybody they don't even love. This man goes on to say in the beginning of the marriage he was selfish, he put his own wants and needs above hers, and my whole thing is he's still selfish, because you're still doing that. You're still monetizing off of her trauma, and you're still publicly embarrassing her. Do you think it fills her with pride for her to hear her man talk about how he didn't love her at first? He didn't care then, and I don't think he cares now. Any man who's willing to humiliate and embarrass you for the approval and the acceptance of other men is not worth having.
3 basic reasons why married men cheat. Number 1 is that they don't love their wives. You see, many women are of this opinion that men only marry women that they love. That's not true. The first thing a man uses to marry a wife, apart from all the other things, is who he can live with. Men prefer to marry a woman that they can live with more than a beautiful woman. It's very good if the two are inside one. But a lot of times, they don't marry women that they love. You'll be shocked. So the woman takes care of them, treats them well, give them their children. She's the wife. That is the wife. But that wife does not mean that she's what brings excitement to you. You see, that doesn't mean that she brings excitement. So they don't really love their wife. They are ready to give their wife cheat. But the wife themselves, they are not exciting to the men. Number 2 is unfulfilled sexual desires. That is, they are married now, but the wife says no more. I read the story recently of a guy that him and his wife hasn't been together for more than 6 months. God have mercy. Now that man, I don't know how to I pity him, because the sexual drive for a man is so strong. And in that kind of situation, it's almost as if the wife is saying, go out and do it, go out and do it. Unfulfilled sexual desires. And number 3 is that they finally can do it. You see, you will not know that many men want to do this thing. There's a footballer recently that divorced his wife so that he can go and live a life and sleep with girls. When he was broke, he married, had children with her. But now he started to think, let me go and have fun. That's what happened. Many men, when they married, they had nothing. But now after they're married, money has come, there's stability. They can now finally explore into different ways. So sometimes it's not as complex as it looks. That is why before you marry a person, make sure that they have a background, a strong background of holiness and righteousness.
why is it that some men cheat but have no intentions of leaving their woman, leaving the relationship? Like, you know how you always hear that phrase, is cheaper to keep her? But I feel like that more so applies to marriage. There are so many men in relationships that, you know, with women they're not married to that still have no intentions of leaving, but they'll still cheat in silence. And I feel like my personal theory is women really underestimate how much men value convenience, ease, peace in some cases, because sometimes they don't choose peace. But I feel like because of that, if a man is happy at home, he's not going to leave. Like, that's the way that I feel about it. Some of these men are not unhappy. That's why they're not leaving. They're just cheaters. Like, some people, it's their nature. I don't believe all men cheat, but some people are just cheaters. That's who they are. It doesn't have anything to do with the woman. And also, I feel like there's a difference between love and respect. I think it's very possible for a man to love you but still not respect you, because some of these men don't even respect themselves. And I feel like that's a whole different topic for a different video. But I will say this, especially if a man's not like faith oriented or family oriented and has something like outside of his own wants and needs to consider, he's definitely he definitely is more susceptible to cheating, because he doesn't have anything holding him to a higher standard, is what I'm saying. So I'll share something, you know, in my personal life. My stepdad and I are pretty close. And when I was in college, I had a conversation with him, and, you know, we were just drinking a beer. Don't ask me why I was drinking a beer. I don't think I was 21 yet, maybe. But anyway, we were just drinking a beer. And I asked him, I was like, why did you cheat on my mom? And his answer really rewired my brain. And he was like, because I'm a cheater. Like, I've always been a cheater. And he was like, I loved your mom. Like, to this day, there's no woman that would ever compare to your mother. But I'm a cheater. I would always tell women, I live with my wife. I'm not leaving my wife. And a lot of women would still sleep with him. And to this day, I hope my mother died without knowing that this man had like a whole other family. And that always like stuck with me, because I always thought about it differently ever since then. So back to what I was saying about men valuing convenience and ease and peace. What does this look like in the wild? I've seen it look like men and women splitting bills, okay? Think about it. Maybe you live in a city that's like very expensive. Maybe you live in like New York. Maybe you live in like Los Angeles, something like that, where the cost of living is very high. Maybe a man's trying to like maintain his lifestyle. Maybe he couldn't afford that car. Maybe he couldn't afford to be going out with the guys all the time if he wasn't splitting bills with you. Okay? It's convenient for him. He's staying in that relationship out of convenience. I also feel like some women make such a nice household environment. Like, some women just know how to keep a home. You know, you come home, the food is there, and it's good food. The kids are bathed, and fed and in bed. Your house is always clean, like you can eat off the ground. Why would a man leave? Like, where is he going? Like, even if he leaves, he's coming back. Because even if there is an emotional void there, or he's not getting what he needs, like sexually, he'd rather just cheat in silence and come back to a peaceful home.
I think the psychology of men has shifted, whereby we look at the mother of our kid and then we look for our life partner. So the mother of your kid becomes the mother of your kid, the person that rears your children, and the lust and that sexual desire then drops. And then that's why men look for the mistress.
This is the biggest thing I've learned about infidelity since being a professional relationship coach. I'm Dr. Sarah Hensley. I'm a specialized social psychologist who's been studying the science of attachment and attraction inside romantic relationships for over 15 years, and I've also seen thousands of clients helping them repair their romantic relationships. I'm going to get so beat up for this, but it is 100% the truth. The ability to cheat on your spouse comes down to the level of character. I don't think that cheating is really attachment related. And I think most things are attachment related inside of relationships, but cheating really isn't attachment related. It comes one level deeper than that, to one's character and to the ability of someone to compartmentalize and override their conscience. So does that make the dismissive avoidant who can really compartmentalize well more likely to cheat? Yes, but all attachment styles do cheat. A lot of people cheat. And there are people that can cheat and people that could never cheat. And really, I see a black and white split between these people. There are the people capable and there are people that are not capable. There are people like me who have very little ability to compartmentalize. I am a former fearful avoidant who earned my attachment security, and I was a lot more on the anxious side of the spectrum most of the time. But I don't have compartmentalization ability. I have very little ability to step in and out of situations as different people and to sort of block out my time as one person and step into my time as another person. And that's what people do when they cheat. They step into the relationship with their spouse showing up as one person, and then they kind of block that off and compartmentalize that part of their life, and then they step into the affair with their affair partner as a different person. So what I'm saying is my conscience would be eaten alive by guilt if I cheated on my spouse. And then there are people that aren't. I was cheated on in my first marriage, even when I was pregnant with our planned second child. I can tell you that finding out that you've been cheated on is probably the most heartbreaking, punch in the gut, feeling like your whole world has been ripped out from underneath you feeling. And so I really want to send a message out there to people that are currently cheating. Number one, I'm not here to shame you. I have a lot of people in my practice that I see that have cheated on their spouses. And instead of shaming them, I provide them with an opportunity to dig really deep into what happened in their character development that allowed them this ability to override their conscience in these situations and to compartmentalize the different relationships in their life. So I promise you there's no shame or judgment when I say this. But what you are doing is destructive. It is destructive to yourself, to how you really probably want to view yourself. It's destructive to your family. You will get caught because they always get caught. I can't tell you how many times somebody has told me, I never thought I would be caught, and I got caught. You will get caught, okay? And then you will immediately regret what you've done. You will have destroyed your family, and you will regret it, and you will be crumbling because you will realize that the damage can never be undone.
Here are 8 solid reasons why some men do cheat on their wives. A man may cheat on his wife for several reasons, and while it's never justified, understanding the why can offer clarity. Here are some of the most common deeper reasons. Reason 1. Emotional dissatisfaction. He may feel unloved, ignored, or emotionally disconnected from his wife, and instead of addressing it, he seeks that connection elsewhere. Reason 2. Sexual frustration or boredom. You see, he might feel like the sexual chemistry is missing, or that things have become routine, and instead of working on it, he looks for novelty. That is newness, something new. Reason 3. Low self-esteem or identity crisis. You see, cheating can be a way to feel powerful, wanted, or like a man again, especially if he's struggling with confidence, aging, or self-worth. Reason 4. poor communication or conflict avoidance. You see, if he's not comfortable talking about his needs or frustrations, he might bottle them up and act out instead of dealing with them directly. Reason 5. Opportunity and temptation. You see, sometimes it's less about the marriage and more about lack of boundaries. The chance to cheat presents itself and he takes it, especially if he thinks he won't get caught. Reason 6. Resentment or feeling unappreciated. You see, if he feels criticized, taken for granted, or neglected, he may cheat to reclaim a sense of being valued, even if it's in a harmful way. Reason 7. Addiction or compulsive behavior. Some men struggle with sex or intimacy addiction or unresolved trauma, which drives them to cheat compulsively. Reason 8 and the last reason. Immaturity or entitlement. You see, he may not fully understand or respect what it means to commit, or he believes he deserves more than one partner. You see, my dear beloved, cheating is painful and complicated, but often it's a reflection of internal conflict or unmet needs, not necessarily a judgment on the wife herself. If you are dealing with this personally, I'm here to talk through it with you. Thank you very much and remain blessed. Remember, ignorance is not an excuse. Forewarned is forearmed. Goodbye for now.